Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Shineability Show. If you haven't been here before, my name is Robin Carberry, and I have coached hundreds of entrepreneurs in things like offer development, funnel strategy, launching, mindset, and more. But what I've discovered is that all of the strategies in the world are not going to help you if you're not truly sparked by what it is that you do, and if your mindset is getting in the way of your success. So what I love is helping Gen X women find that thing that sparks them and start having fun conducting small Gen experiments in business, work, and life. So I come here live every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time to talk about how you can use Gen experiments in business, work, and life to start creating the life that you want. So today, what I would like to talk about is the power of discomfort. So discomfort feels like a bad word, right? Something you want to move away from instead of moving towards. And we're geared that way to a large degree. You touch a hot stove, you yank your hand away without even thinking about it so you don't get burned, right? It's a protection device wired into us to keep us safe. But what I'm talking about here is not danger when I talk about discomfort. The discomfort that I'm talking about is more around the, I don't know if I can do that thing, it feels scary. And that feeling can come up when we're trying something new or we're trying something that's always been hard for us. So when discomfort hit me, my default was always to turn over, roll over, and go back to sleep. But I never actually went back to sleep because the thing would keep spinning around in my mind. So not doing whatever the scary thing was for me actually added to my discomfort, certainly disrupted my sleep, but there was more to it than that. Whether it was standing up for myself, or taking the steps to start my business, or going live, or picking up a paintbrush and doing my first painting. If I didn't take that uncomfortable step towards it that day, then another day passed, and then maybe another day passed. And then all of a sudden, days, weeks had passed, and I was no closer to doing the thing that I actually wanted to do. And that was the thing that I had discomfort around, right? So there is the power of discomfort, right? It is telling you the direction to move in. And even when that thing that you tried doesn't go perfectly well, learning what not to do is just as important as learning what to do. So, simple example, right? Think about the very first step you took. Okay, maybe you don't remember the first step you took, but think about the first step that your child took, right? She grabbed onto whatever was there, whether it was a table, a chair, a stool, whatever, pulled herself up on those little toddler legs and started to move. What was inevitable? She was going to fall. So the negative thing was going to happen. She was going to fall. Whether she took 1 step, 2 steps, 5 steps, 10 steps, she was going to fall. And when she fell, she was going to learn something about what not to do. So the next time she tried, she would be more successful. And that's why I want you to take steps, right? So think about it this way. Each day you have a choice. You can stand still, you can take a step forward, or you can take a step backward, right? None of these things are wrong. All of this is okay. But if you think about it this way, in 30 days, the version of you that took 1 small step forward each day is 30 steps ahead of the version of you that stood still, and 60 steps ahead of the version of you that stepped backwards. So these small things add up. So here are 4 tips that I want to share with you to help you make discomfort start working for you instead of against you. First, identify 1 small Gen experiment that you can conduct that will move you forward towards the discomfort. You don't have to do everything all at once or do it all in one day, right? Small actions add up. But even better, small steps feel more manageable and less risky, so they're easier for you to take. And you're going to learn something from each and every one of them, and learning is a win. 2, I want you to think about, what if this goes really well? And when I say that, I'm not talking about like, what is my life going to look like in 6 months or a year from now? No, we're talking about 1 small Gen experiment. What if it goes well? So many of us are really good at creating very complicated worst case scenarios in our minds. Yes, that's me. About what could go wrong, and not as good about envisioning what if something goes well. So that's why, again, this small Gen experiment, what if it goes well for you? So maybe that means somebody says yes. Maybe that means somebody says to you, wow, thank you. I really needed to hear that today. Or what if somebody says to you, wow, you're really good at that. Or maybe you say to yourself, I am so glad I finally did that. I feel great. Step 3, and this might seem against everything that I've been saying, but I want you to think about, okay, what if it doesn't go well? What if this gen experiment that I'm conducting does not go well? And the reason I want you to think about that, well, there's actually 2 reasons. First, if you think about, okay, what might be a negative consequence to this small gen experiment? Then you can plan what you will do if that will happen. And that gives you power. So we can control only so many things. We can't control everything that's going to happen when we take an action, right? But we can control how we think about it and how we react to it. And that is the power. The second reason I want you to think about this, again, small gen experiment, is because if you consider what might not go that well, you might say to yourself, you know what? That is not such a big deal. I can handle that. Tip 4, I want you to think about how freeing it's going to be for you when you take that step, when you conduct that gen experiment. Freeing, why? Why? Because you stop thinking about it. You stop going in circles in your head. You stop creating negative scenarios. You stop having the same conversation with yourself over and over and over again because you've done something about it. And then the bigger benefit to that is that you start to understand that moving towards discomfort, taking steps towards discomfort, is when the things really start to happen for you. So, I hope that was helpful, and I would love to see you again next week, Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I hope you have an amazing rest of the week, and I'll see you then. Bye.